certainly noticed that, excuse me. I certainly noticed this week the difference in the hours, because it's only going darker in the evening much earlier. But when I leave early in the morning to go to a meeting, I don't have to use the backup mirror to back out. I can just see right behind me through the mirror, because it's no longer pitch black out there, which is pretty good. So there are positives and negatives to everything. And today's reading is called Bridge or Wall. First quote was from someone of whom everyone has heard, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and he says, "Let's build bridges, not walls." And Ernest Holmes in Spiritual Awareness says, "Spiritual experience is the result of actually realizing that the presence, capital P, which binds all together, is one complete whole." And that was Spiritual Awareness, and it's on page 15 of that publication. And Reverend David quotes from the last pontiff, last Pope, Pope Francis, and he said, "I will make bridges, or I will make walls. Walls divide, bridges unite." And then Reverend David goes on to say, "For some, it is a sacred and sustaining choice, often unfolding in the quiet, repetitive motions of thought, word, and deed. Recognition is the building manual. Bridge building happens when the heart's open and it's teachable to the presence of the infinite." It says there are no shortcuts and there are no clever detours, just the unwavering focus of aligning one's time, talent, and treasure to the bridge's quiet, sacred architecture. It says, and yet here's the twist. The bridge has always been there. It is I who forget. It is I who wall off the view. He says, when I cease laboring on the structure of division, when I release the illusion that oneness is missing, I again begin to feel the bridge beneath my feet. Even when others scoff and say love is weakness or waste, I build. And he says, no, I remember. This bridge is not only for them, but for the frightened parts of me that is still crouched behind the crumbling walls that I mistook for safety. And I tear up in awe, recognizing that this release of illusion it's only the beginning. It's just an invitation into a deeper experience of love that defies description. He says, so I breathe the breath of the willing. I lift my eyes not to the heavens above, but to the heaven that has always lived in the unguarded space of my own heart. The bridge is here. It always was. And it's pretty easy to expect other people to change and not expect us to change. It's pretty easy to say, my point of view is the only one. But it's amazing what happens when we open up to the possibility that since everything is interconnected, we each have an impact on everybody else. And it's also easy to forget that we all have our own opinions, we all have our own beliefs. And we're not here to impose our beliefs on other people. Are there some beliefs that absolutely should not be allowed to be expressed? Yes, absolutely there are. Oppression, for instance, and discrimination, just to name a few. But what we can do is we can look beyond all of that, and we can look to the person behind it and just know that that person deep down whatever they're doing right now has got some love. I honestly think that our criminal justice system, and sometimes justice is not a word that really should be applied to it if you look back in history. I sometimes think that we're looking in the wrong direction. A lot of what I see out there is, quote, evil, unquote, I see as people who've just gone mentally astray. Not all of it, no, but lots of it I see as people who've just gone mentally astray. And I think we're at the point in our evolution as a human race to start realizing that sometimes people commit things because they have major mental issues, and our job is to try and figure that out. So that's one way. When I look beyond, like on the television, somebody's hauled up, they committed this horrendous crime. But I'll bet if you look into their history, you'll find that there are things that have caused that to happen. And if they'd had the correct guidance, they might have gone off in a completely different direction. But having said all that, yes, there are people who should not be allowed out in public because they're just too dangerous. But should we try to find a solution for it? Yeah, absolutely. I think so anyway. So my voice is giving out. I've had a busy day. Excuse me, I've had a very busy day. And I know lots of you have had a busy day. So I just appreciate all of you who watch these recordings, because there's always something in every single one of these recordings that I can use. And I'm sure there's something in every single one of these recordings that you can use. Even if it's just the affirmation, I feel the bridge of unity beneath my feet. I feel the bridge of unity beneath my feet. I think that's a good thing to contemplate on. And in my next quiet time, I'm going to use it. I'm going to see what happens. And my prayer today for each and every one here is, I'm knowing the highest good for each and every one. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Everywhere we are, God is, and all is well. So until tomorrow, I'm saying namaste and reminding you, please tune in to my colleague, Reverend Lisa Ryan, Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page, 9:15 tomorrow morning. And until next time, namaste.